Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Moving Markets Podcast. It is Friday, October 31st, 2025. Happy Halloween, everyone. Last trading day of the month. We're down to 2 months left in the calendar year. It has been a pretty amazing year, some wild up and downs to say the least, but pretty fantastic year. Hopefully these last 2 months we can really finish it out strong and have just arguably our best year we've ever had. It is about 10:20 a.m. my time, so the markets have been open for just shy of 3 hours right now. And I got to tell you, there has been everything started out really hot, and there has been a somewhat steady sell-off since the open. Dow's down a little bit. You can see here the Dow's down 75 points almost, and you can see we got a big start, little shaky, big peak about hour and 15 minutes into the market open. And then even though this looks sort of choppy, that's been pretty steadily down, especially when it's sort of, this was kind of that midpoint right there. Once it's sort of dropped below that, it's been a fairly rapid decline in the last 30 minutes with the Dow, turning negative and being a little bit to the downside. I don't know what that spells for the remainder of the day. Going into a weekend, it's not uncommon, not even a little bit uncommon as you go into a weekend, and especially as brokers and registered investment advisors and money, fund managers and other money managers, they do a lot of what it often gets referred to as book balancing. They sort of, at the end of each month, they look at what they can book profits on. They even look at what they can book some strategic losses on. And so when you're going into the weekend and you're the last trading day of the month, it's not uncommon at all to see a little bit of sell-off. So in the midst of what was some really, really good earnings news, Apple and Amazon just absolutely crushed it. I want to just for fun take a look at where those two are right now. Amazon still up 10%. That's not as high as it was at its highest point, but not real far off it. So having a fantastic day, up 10%. And I believe at one time, at least, Apple was up. Apple's only up 86 cents a share right now, but you can see Apple started much, much stronger than that. I think this open for Apple was closer to a 10% gain when Apple took off. I'll have to do a little bit of digging. I'm not sure why Apple, after taking off so high, pulled back and then has had a hard time, catching fire again. Some other notables, Nvidia up about $1 right now, but it was up $5 a share at one point in time. Palantir up $4.80, but at one point in time today, it was up over $10. The SPY, these are some trades that we have on, up 160 right now, but it was up 360 at one point. So, you can see everything has cooled off considerably since having that really, strong start. And it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Nobody should be surprised that that things, quickly got tamped down and mellowed out after that initial strong start. It's hard to say if the sell-off that has taken place in the last primarily in the last 30 minutes or so, if that continues, because you can see the Dow's already coming back a little bit. It's hard to say if that will continue or if things could rally a little bit. You might have some, people sitting on the sidelines saying, hey, I know that there's a lot of money managers and brokers that are going to balance books today, and they're going to do some creative things to kind of liquidate positions, stuff like that. I'm going to wait for all that to flesh out, and then I'm going to jump into some things, and that wouldn't be a horrible move to make. So we'll see. You could see a rally back up to where, maybe not to the high of the day, but this is kind of the medium range of where things have traded today. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a rally back up there and the Dow got back into positive territory. And at one point in time today, I think the NASDAQ was as high as 350, 340, I want to say. So it's given up at least half of what it was up at one time, because I know it was up over 300 points at one time. So we'll see how it all fleshes out at the end of the day. couple of quick things that we've got going on. So I gave you a heads up on this in the podcast yesterday. Hopefully you had a chance to listen to that. Shortly after the open today, Coin, which is having a phenomenal day and would have hit our full target profit had we just left it alone. It didn't look like it was going to do that in the early part of trading, and I didn't want to take a chance, and I certainly didn't want to, leave things hanging throughout the entire day. So we rolled the call side out 1 week, only cost us, 20 to 30 cents, and then we rolled our puts up a little bit. I believe on the put side of things, you probably should have got somewhere in the neighborhood of a 60-cent credit, maybe a little bit more than that, between the little bit we paid to roll the calls out and the money we took in to roll the puts up. You might be able to exit Coin right now for a profit and not sit in it next week. If you sit in it all of next week, I don't think that would be a bad thing. I think you could still come out of this looking pretty good. But if you want to be done with it and just have a quick profit on a really short one-day trade, I think you'd be up 8-10%, and that wouldn't be a horrible thing to do. You can say not quite the same thing for Strategy Inc. They're having a great day as well, but same thing. We had to roll it out because right now they're up high enough that we would have been at our full profit. But same thing with Strategy. We did exactly the same thing. We rolled the call side straight out. Only cost us about 33 cents. And then I didn't send anything for rolling the put side up. But now that they've moved up enough, earlier today, I wouldn't have suggested that because right at the open, they were trading right around the price of our long put. They're up high enough today, and they've kind of resisted this sell-off that everything else has experienced. I would consider right now rolling the short put up from the, I believe I don't have my live stuff open, from the 265 up to the 270. But if you do that, keep a really close eye on it. Be willing to pull the trigger on it like almost the instant. Let me tell you what that would cost right now, or what kind of credit you would get. If you rolled the 265 straight up to 270, you would get about 55 to 60 cent per share credit. That goes a long ways in helping the trade get profitable faster. You just need to really, really keep an eye on it in case it starts to slip and move back down towards 270. So I'm going to do it on mine. I'm going to do it right now. In fact, right now as we speak, I'm going to take a screenshot right now, and I'm going to put this on Discord. I'm going to do a limit of 55 cents because it's the mid is just a little bit above that right now. I'm going to do it right now in mine. I'm going to put it on Discord right now. Hopefully by the time you might be listening to this, if you didn't see it on Discord, you will at the very least still have time to do this and get that credit. But like I said, I'm also going to keep a really close eye on it. And if Strategy Inc. starts to dip before the day is over, then I'll make a very, very quick exit of this side of the trade. I'm going to stick with the call side. I think it's going to be profitable early into next week because I think they're going to continue to go up. So after the little bit of brokerage profit taking, if that's what you want to call it today, I think next week is going to be a big week, and I think earnings are going to continue to be very strong. I'm typing this in. I'm going to put side adjustment. And here's what I'm doing with it. And I put it on Discord, and I'm hitting the send button. And for a 55 cent ground, the mid dropped. Oh, there it goes. Mine just filled it right at 55 cents. So now I'll keep a close eye on it and try and send something out if I feel like I'm going to exit that in short order. So looking good on that. We got out of Boeing earlier this week, absolutely wonderfully. Even though NVIDIA is not up as much as it was earlier today, it is back up. And I believe that puts our NVIDIA trade still probably down just a little bit from where we opened it. Let me quickly update this. Our SPY trade is already looking pretty good. It actually stayed in the plus column yesterday with the sell-off, and now it's up a little bit today. In fact, I'll refresh this one right after NVIDIA refreshes. It's probably up. SPY is probably up a little bit better than this 6.7%. I think it might be a shade better than that right now. So all in all, looking good. Yeah, I guess we're still down about the same on NVIDIA. But SPY, I think we're about the same as well. Maybe even, like I said, a tiny bit better. Earlier today, when it was up like 350 points, it looked really good. But of course, it's come back down a little bit since then. So all in all, looking fantastic. I like where it's pretty much the same, right? It was maybe even a tiny bit higher. All in all, looking good. I like where we're at with the trades we have open. Caller trades, I haven't sent this out yet. I'm going to send this out over the weekend. And this is the trade that we're going to get into. I talked about this in yesterday's podcast. If you, I'll leave this up a little bit. So if you wanted to copy these things down, you could. This is basically how I'm going to enter the trade. Obviously, this is higher now than it was when I was looking at it this morning. Wish I would have jumped in this morning because it is up a little bit. But that's about what the trade would look at like right now. If you were to enter in it, you would get a little bit more money for your short calls than what you would pay out for your long puts, and you'd only be exposing about $1.50 of the total value of the stock to any downward movement. So I think it would be a very ideal entry point the way it is right here. So I'm going to send this out over the weekend for sure for a Monday morning open, and this will be the new collar trade to take the place of Bank of America and Ford. Now, I personally am starting out with 600 shares. That's just what I'm doing. You do whatever you want. I always suggest with collar trades that if at all possible, you do a minimum of 300 shares. But this is one that's a more affordable stock. I may reconsider and add more. I personally might do 1,000 shares on this one. But whatever I end up doing, I will let you know for sure. So this is the trade we're looking at getting into. All right, I am going to wrap up right there. Everybody have a great weekend. Things looking very good overall. I'll be back on Monday with new trades, and hopefully we're off to a roaring start on Monday. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.